Hello all, I welcome you to this session. And today I have with me our special guest, Mr. Praveen Kumar, who has just cleared the EPFO EO examination. And Praveen, I welcome you to this session.
Thank you, sir, and I would like to thank EduTap for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you. And Praveen, first of all, I would like to ask what is your feeling now after getting such a coveted job?
Sir, I'm definitely feeling happy, and I would say I'm feeling more relieved because it's been a long journey for me, and I think finally I can feel that I have achieved something. So
Great,
I'm happy.
great, great. And Praveen, one thing I would like to ask beforehand, can you please tell us about your educational and preparation background?
So I'm an engineer, sir. I have graduated in 2016, and after that I have started preparing for the civil services, and I have given three mains. Um, in 2020, I came across this notification, and uh, in 2021, I decided to take a break from the civil services and started preparing for other exams like NABARD and UPFO. That's how it happened.
Great. Praveen, one thing I would like to know, since you are from the CSC background, UPSC background, so how difficult was it for you to prepare for the EPFO examination?
Um, uh, I would say the difficult part is taking a break from the civil services and giving full time for the other exams. But other than that, being a civil services aspirant, I think it actually helped me in many ways for preparing for this exam because if you see the syllabus, most of the syllabus is similar to that of
Right,
civil services.
right.
Um, so I think it has really helped me in achieving this.
Great. Praveen, one more question. Since you are preparing for the UPSC, what were the learnings from the UPSC which you applied in the EOA preparation?
I think the most important thing I think is not giving up. I think after three successive failures, I think I didn't give up, and I was feeling more uh, uh, excited to give other exams. And I think being a civil services aspirant, it teaches us how to plan things and how to limit your sources and how to track the right sources for your preparation. I think it has helped me.
Great. And one more question here. Since it was not a regular examination, EPFO, and conducted in once in 3 to 4 years, so
Yes.
how you managed it with your existing preparation?
As I said, I have took a break from the civil services and I have given complete time for the other exams. I think COVID also came as a blessing in disguise for me because I could give 2 months of my complete time for this preparation. So I gave the 2 months of the complete time for this EPFO itself. I think it has really gave me the results I wanted.
Great. And one more thing, since it was a long examination, from almost January 2020 to July 2022. So how you keep yourself motivated throughout the journey?
So keeping myself motivated was the difficult part, especially in the COVID. Um, a lot of the students, as also me, also get demotivated in the time because the exams were getting postponed and you have been jobless for so many years. But I think that is where the challenge lies, and you have to be constantly keep motivating yourself. You have to tell yourself that one day you will get succeed, and I think believing yourself is most important.
Right. Right. And Praveen, one more thing I would like to ask you here. Since UPSC preparation is a very difficult preparation because actually competition is so much and no sudden success is guaranteed here. And you were preparing for this examination for almost 3 to 4 years. So, it is a big challenge to keep yourself updated and motivated at the same time. So, what were your sources of motivation? Actually, I want to know, like parents or anything else.
I would say parents were my biggest motivation, especially my father. He used to constantly motivate me because being a civil service aspirant, you will be staying away from your parents, like in Delhi or in Hyderabad, and talking to them in the phone regularly keeps us motivated. And seeing some like the toppers interviews also, it also really helps us to get motivated. You have to keep reminding yourself of your goal, and it will definitely will motivate you. And
Great. Great.
bad days are, I think, common for everyone. the thing is how fast you will get over that and you will start again preparing yourself.
Right.
That's the most important.
Right. Very good. Very good. And Praveen, one more thing, I would like to ask you, since you are preparing for the civil service examination, like post of IAS, IPS, and IFS, hai na? And
Yes.
you suddenly took a turn to the EPFO organization. So how you make up your mind for the EPFO part?
Uh, Actually, it was just an accident coming across this notification. My friend just told me about this notification. I have just applied, and initially I wasn't very serious about it, but when I decided to take a break, I think EPFO came as a very great opportunity for me because it is a very prestigious organization and it is a very good job. So I made up my mind that I will prepare seriously for this post, and I think that's it.
Great, great. And one more thing, I would like to ask you, um, what were your sources of preparation during this EO examination preparation?
So the basic sources, if you see the syllabus, most of the syllabus is similar. So my basic sources for the general studies is my preparation background from the civil services. The challenging part for me was the other topics like the accountancy and
Accountancy,
the
higher labor
industrial
law.
relations and social security. I think so. My basic strategy was to limit my sources and keep on revising them.
Great, great.
I just uh,
Praveen, one more thing. Can you please elaborate on the specific sources you followed, like books for a particular component? Because many students are learning from you here. So, can you please elaborate?
so So for modern history, like I said, the sources were the Spectrum book by Rajiv Ahir sir and the Struggle for Independence by Bipin
Vipin
Chandra.
Chandra.
Yeah. And for general polity and geography, like there is Lakshmi Khan, there is Majid Hussain for geography, and I think for for EPFO specifically, you need not to go very deep into those aspects. And coming to accountancy, as I said, I have just kept two sources. One is the online sources like YouTube, and one more book by ICA, the Basic Principles of Accountancy. I have read that book thoroughly because it was an entirely new topic for me. I think I just stuck to that one source, and I kept on revising 3 4 times. So, and for industrial relations, I didn't follow any specific book. Uh, Most of my preparation was by online and through watching videos from the various YouTube channels. And the most important thing is the labor laws. For that, I have just followed. I have downloaded all the bare acts from the various ministry websites, and I have just gone through these bare acts and prepared my own notes. I think preparing my own notes has helped me very much because it helped me revise just 2 3 times in very quick way. So these are my sources.
Great. And one more thing I would like to ask you here, Praveen. Since you are from the technical background, engineering background, and preparing for the UPSC, so how difficult was it to prepare for the accountancy, principal, higher labor law, and the social security? Because they are totally new to you as a beginner.
Yes, so especially the accountancy. It was very difficult for me because I couldn't understand even the basic terms like depreciation and basic accounting principles. But I think because I had time, like 2 months of time, I I took it from the scratch. I googled each and every small definition. I started learning from the basics and the book, the principles of accountancy book. It is a very clean book and even a layman can understand it. I think choosing that as a source really helped me, and I started constantly giving marks of the accountancy like for every topic I studied, I started giving some objective questions.
Great.
So that way, I have learned that accountancy.
Great, very good. And Praveen, one more question here also. Do you know? Do you think this examination is for UPSC aspirants? Because there is a myth that only UPSC aspirants can crack this examination. Is it true?
As you have mentioned it's just a myth for anyone because if you see the notification, any graduate can apply, and I think anyone who has ability to prepare for the topics can apply it and can easily crack it. And even if you see the last year's the 2017 batch toppers, many of them are our non UPSC aspirants, and I think it's just a myth. Anyone with a clear source and with a clear vision can crack it.
Great. Totally true. And one more question here also, ki, there is a common myth. One more myth is ki you have to be an expert in the accountancy principle for giving the examination like EO examination. Is it true again?
So I think it is also just a myth. Even I was very skeptical in the beginning that I should be very thorough in the accountancy. But if you go through the previous papers and if you just see the basic questions, most of the questions were just basic accountancy questions. Even I think even in this year exam, the questions were very basic.
Right.
They won't go into very deep accountancy concepts. So if you are just good with your basics, and if I just the important thing is identifying your strengths and weaknesses. If accountancy is your weakness, just give the basic time it needed, and you just work on your strengths.
Great. And since Praveen, there are so many components. There were 10 components in the EO preparation. So how you balanced your preparation? It is very difficult to prepare when you have so many components to prepare. So balancing of the components is very important. So what was your day-wise study plan for that, or month-wise or
So
week-wise?
yeah, very true, sir. Because you cannot neglect any topic because uh, and the thing UPSC is about the UPSC exam is you never know from which topics you will get more questions and from which topic you will get less questions.
Right.
So I think a balanced approach is very important. Uh, that's why that is where identifying your strengths and weaknesses comes into play. Uh, because I was an UPSC aspirant, I know my strengths are general studies, so I have devoted less time for this history and polity and quant and English part. So I devoted more time for this accountancy and basic industrial relations, social security, and these aspects. I think my plan was I used to study by weekly. I used to plan for a week, and by keeping Saturday and Sunday for my revision part, and I used to take at least 2 or 3 topics for a day, and I used to prepare for them. And I think a planning part is very personal and it depends on the individual.
Right.
But I would say that a balanced approach is needed, and covering each and every topic, at least the basics, is very important.
Great. Praveen, one more question, I think, which you can answer very well. The question is, how different is EPFO EO recruitment test paper from the UPSC prelims paper?
Yes, sir. So, one thing is this different topics like accountancy and social security. And one thing I found very different is that UPSC asks into very conceptual and very depth-oriented questions. Even like for the polity and for the economics also, UPSC goes into very deep concepts, and UPSC also more concentrates on the current issues
Right.
part.
Right.
But EPFO, because it is not a regular exam, you can never know from where UPSC will ask. But I think covering the basics will suffice for this examination.
Great. Thank you, Praveen. And very well explained by you. And one more question, Praveen, here. Ki current affair is a very wide domain and it is a pain point for every student. So how you manage the current affair preparation for the EPFO EO examination? Because there are certain different dimensions here from the UPSC
Mm.
examination. So how you prepared it?
So current affairs is the most important topic for any UPSC exam. For me, as far as I am concerned, I started. I will read Hindu every day, and I'll just jot down some points when current affairs important points in Evernote. I used to make an online notes for that, and whenever I get a time, I used to prepare the current affairs from the PIB website. And apart from that, I used to prepare. I used to take one monthly current affairs magazine, usually from the Vision or
Vision, yes.
any. Yes. So current affairs was, I think, one of my strengths because I never left preparing the current affairs even when the exams were not there. Even during the COVID, I used to read the newspaper daily and I used to prepare for these current affairs. I think PIB and the newspaper, I think, are the most important sources for the current affairs. Apart from that, if you don't have time, you can go for any reputed institute current affairs notes. It will suffice. At least covering 1 year of current affairs will be enough.
Great. And one more question, Praveen, here. Did you make notes during your preparation?
Yes, because For me, revision was the central part of my strategy, and so I used to make notes, but I used to make the online notes, not in the on the papers, because by online notes you can easily edit and you can easily highlight the
Right.
points which you are keeps on forgetting. And I used to make for notes for each and every topic, and I just prepare and revise those sources till the last minute. I think making notes is very important, especially for very broad topics like the modern history, be it the accountancy or the labor laws.
Right.
You can jot down your notes into even when any large topics, you can just concise them into one and a half or 2 pages, and it will definitely help you, especially in the revision when the time is when you have time constraints.
Great. Praveen, one more thing here I would like to ask. Revision is a very tedious task, and it is very important for the examinations conducted by the UPSC, even for any other examination. But reading once a book is very easy, but reading it again and again is a very tedious task. So, how you planned your revision?
Uh, Basically, I have learned from my mistakes. Uh, I used to neglect my revision in my previous exams, and it has costed me. So I have decided that I will just limit my sources, and I will at least revise 3 or 4 times the same sources. So everyone will agree with me that preparing any topic for the first time will just take you so much time, like 10 or 15 days. But if we just keep on revising, it will that time will
Right.
drastically come down, and we can revise the entire topics in just a day. So I think you have to plan your revision strategy at the very beginning. You have to include the revision. You have to include the revision part as in the planning process itself. That way you can easily make time for the revision, and the revision I think is the most important aspect for cracking any exam, and you should never neglect.
Right. Praveen, one more thing here. Since there is a lot of material in the market, in the online market or in the offline market, and somehow we have to restrict ourselves from uh, getting closer to too much material and getting acquainted with the too much material. So, how we should restrict ourselves? What was your principle of restricting yourself? Because when someone sees some new note, there is a human tendency to get those notes. So, what is your strategy regarding that?
Yes, I think that's the most important point you have raised. Restricting the sources is very important, because if you keep on adding new materials and new sources, you can never able to complete the entire syllabus. For me, I think in my experience, I would like to say that just see the past year papers and see the any mock tests you have given, and see and in the beginning itself you just broadly outline the broad topics you need to cover, and prepare your sources accordingly,
Right.
like so that you can restrict your material. And even if you come across a new topic, you just don't go into uh, you opening a entire new book. Just stick to the topic you have. Can I think you can never cover the entire syllabus, and
Right.
I think that's impossible. So you need to be rational in choosing your sources and restricting to those sources.
Right, totally right. And one more thing here, Praveen, uh, what is your take on the mock test or chapter-wise MC, practicing chapter-wise MCQs?
Uh, So mock tests are the most important things. I think even my strategy was to give as many marks as possible, and giving them in the real time conditions. Like I used to prepare for the marks, any available marks in the online, and I used to take a printout of the OMR sheet. I used to sit and practice in the same examination conditions, and that way you can by practicing mark, you know your mistakes, you know which topics you are weak, and which topics are your strengths,
Right,
and where the improvements you need to make. And practicing, because it's a pen and paper based examination, practicing in the OMR is also very important. In that way you can learn in how much time you need to cover this many questions, like because it is a 2 hour examination, I used to cover 30 questions every half an hour. And so you can uh, plan your examination attempt very accurately by giving marks, and you can improve a lot by giving marks. So
Right.
Taking attending marks is very important, and I think EduTap also given many marks, free marks, and I have also written them, and even the topics like accountancy, and I have watched some videos, and it has really helped me.
Thank you. Thank you. Praveen, one more thing. Uh, it is totally personal question. So, what if you had not made it in the EO examination?
So I am not sure what would my reaction be, but I have joined just 2 months back as a SWO in a public sector bank. I
Oh,
think
great.
I would have continued my job, and I would have prepared for other regulatory body examinations. And I think having a plan B is also very important. I would like to advise in new aspirants that just mindlessly sticking to just one exam will cost you in the long run, because not every student will crack the examination. I would suggest that always have a plan B, and prepare accordingly. Uh,
Praveen, there is one take on this advice of your from my side. See, sometimes students feel ki if I have a plan B, it will dilute the preparation of my plan A. It will reduce my focus. So, what's your take on that?
so having a not plan, having a plan B doesn't mean that you have to prepare for the both plans simultaneously. Uh, it depends on the person, sir. Because, if you are a new young graduate, if you have time, you can totally invest 3 or 4 years of your into your say UPSC journey, but single-mindedly. But uh, after 3 4 years, like in my case, what happened is after some 3 4 years. There will be pressures
Right.
both from your personal side, and you will be jobless for at least 4 5 years, and you will have also this internal feeling that you will still depending on your parents for money. So I think having a plan B after 4 5 years maybe will help, and it will also boost your confidence once you see the success,
Right. Totally.
and then you can pursue your goals.
Great. And Praveen, great advice, because plan B is doesn't mean you have to compromise the preparation of plan A. Somehow your preparation
Mm.
of plan A will meet the requirement of plan B also. Right. And Praveen, one more thing here. Now we shift the gear towards the interview part. How was your interview?
I think it's a interview. I think in my whole preparation, interview was the most exciting part, and I think mine. So the marks are not released yet, but I think uh, interview uh, was one thing which helped me to come into the finalists. My interview went very well as
What
far
was
as
your
I'm
panel?
concerned.
What was the name of your panel?
Sir, I'm not sure about the panel's names.
So how many members were
I have
there?
tried to ask like know the panel member, but
How
I
many
couldn't
members were
get.
there?
So it was a panel of 4 members, one
Okay.
chairman and 3 members. All were male, and the panel was very cordial. And
So can you please tell some questions which were asked to you in the interview?
so in the beginning, the chairman just asked for my basic details, and he has asked me what you have been doing from the past 5 years, and I have just told about the civil services, and about my recent job. So then most of the chairman sir's questions was around the banks itself, like who was your chairman, and what is your asset size, and regarding the bank's privatization questions. And then he asked about this RBI, and what was the, and one question which I couldn't answer, like who was our current RBI governor, and so I said Shaktikant Das, and his sir has asked me that what was he doing before he became a governor in Ministry of Finance. I said, sorry, sir, I couldn't remember what. So, and I think the second panel member mostly asked me factual based questions like regarding SEBI, and because my optional was geography, and
Okay.
he asked me name me some countries in the Central Europe. And I think another panel member asked me about my hobbies. My hobbies were reading historical fiction and learning about astrophysics. So he went into in depth about the astrophysics part, and I think uh, like what you have learned from astrophysics, like what's the difference between astronomy and astrophysics, and the JWST telescope. So overall, it was a very good experience.
Great, great. And one more thing, what according to you are there? What according to you they are looking for actually in the candidate?
Sir, as far as I know, sir, they are just looking for the confidence and the honesty part, sir. Because they are not looking for the memory part, or they're not looking for the knowledge part. They're assessing the candidate because it is a personality test. They are just assessing your personality and the way you handle the questions which you didn't know, and the way you handle the questions which you, especially in the opinion-based questions, how you take the balanced approach and how you are giving your opinions in a justified manner. I think these are the aspects they are looking, and just being honest and being confident is the key to the interviews
Great,
for the
great,
UPSC interview.
great. And Praveen, one more thing, what is the importance of giving mock interviews before the actual interview?
So mock interviews will be your guiding light. So I would like to thank EduTap for conducting free mocks, because I was giving interview after nearly 4 5 years, and I was very anxious in the beginning. I gave a mock interview. I gave actually two mock interviews in the EduTap, one for the EPF, one for the NABARD grade also. I think these the mock interviews were actually very good and similar to that of UPSC standards, because the EduTap has invited some prestigious members, and they were very cordial, and they had guided me that what all topics you have to cover and how to answer, because I was very anxious in the first in my first mock interview. They censored about that, and they try to calm me down. And I think giving mock interviews really will help you in first thing you in getting your topics right and getting your confidence right, and it also helps us in uh, what kind of gestures you have to do and what kind of body language you have to present,
Right, right.
and you can all practice that in the mock interviews. And because there is a very you cannot do mistakes in the actual interview, so mock interviews are the lessons you have to learn.
Right. Right. Praveen, so thank you very much for your crucial time, and you are giving so much advices, important advices to the student. So I would like to ask any future targets now after the EPFO EO AO?
Definitely, sir. And there is also this, I think APFC notification is coming up. There is
So you are
one
giving competitions
same.
to the students.
I think I would like, not competition, but I would like to go for the, you have to always aspire for the bigger things in life.
So one
And
question here,
maybe
one question here. Sorry to interrupt. How will you utilize your existing EO preparation in the APFA preparation?
as the notification is not out yet, we do not know the exact syllabus, but I think the syllabus will be more or less similar to that of EPFO. And as I have said, I have made my notes in the online, so I think I'll just wait for the notification to know about the correct syllabus, and I'll just started preparing daily newspaper, and I started my current affairs from now itself. Just keeping myself updated. And I think for APFC, the most important things will be the industrial and labor laws, because there is now the new labor laws coming into
Right.
effect. Preparing for those codes will be very important, I think, and constantly updating myself with the current affairs part, and maybe strengthening my thing in the accountancy thing. And I think going forward, maybe next year I may give the civil services exam one more time.
Great, great. And Praveen, any message for the future aspirants from your side?
So my message will be just for any aspirant, be it for UPSC or any exam, just believe in yourself, and don't get into unnecessary discussions, unnecessary deviations. Just trust yourself and trust your process, and just work hard for your goal, and I think it will definitely give you success one day or the other. uh, my basic advice will be just trust yourself and completely go with the process, and don't get demotivated.
Thank you very much, Praveen. It was great talking to you, and you have given so many important advices to the aspirant and to me as well. So thank you very much. I wish you a very great future. Thank you very
Thank you, sir.
much.
Thank you very much.